shows concerning car repairs. It was all put together on what we called a podcast. Now, as years went by, the equipment got better, as I mentioned before. The podcast base has grown. It's grown considerably. But what's wonderful about a podcast is that you can actually even download podcasts. A lot of people don't realize that. In fact, the figures that came out from the Edison research just recently stated that over 52% of the actual podcasts nowadays are downloaded so they can be listened to again and again and again. What a fantastic feature. You see, on radio, when the show was over, it was over. Not a lot of replays unless you waited for the weekends or downtimes when the actual traffic could have a rerun on the radio. Podcasting allows you to instantaneously download it, keep it forever, or play it 2 or 3 times and then erase it, whichever one that you like to do. Podcasting became more and more critically acclaimed because of the factor that it was actual individuals talking about their skills, entrepreneurs, business people, professionals, all jumping on the air to really bring out some information that was usable, something that you were kind of interested in and could really listen to. Of course, another nice feature about podcasting is there's not a DJ every 5 seconds cutting you off when you're on a radio show. Or there's not a real 2 or 3 second commercial that ends up to be 30 seconds or 60 seconds right in the middle of the show. I can remember a show on television that always utilized the words, "We got to pause for the cause." Pausing for the cause on podcast is a completely different ballpark because now we have the feature of being able to start a podcast, continue through that podcast, and we can put our wishes of advertisement like we do on this show before and after the show so that the content that you're listening to you can enjoy and absorb. It's a big different world nowadays, and it's wonderful. But here's one of the big drawbacks, unfortunately, that sneaks in every time we get something going. There's always that 10% that have to go out and see if they can mess a good thing up. You know what I mean? 10%. These are the individuals, like on Facebook, that we call trolls, that actually look in favor of disrupting in a disruptable, discouraging way. They'll pick on conversations and be negative for no apparent reason except to get people to fire back with their tempers. Podcasting allows us also to use the telephone and to have call-in listeners and talk to us live, which this show will be doing very shortly in the very near future. But right now, I want to talk about also the power of a podcast. You know, a power of a podcast is very, very interesting simply because there are so many aspects that we have to worry about. As you know, lately, the political scene in this country has been ugly. It's been negative. And I really feel that a lot of the negativity has been produced by social media. Not by the 90% that bring you the facts and the figures, but by the 10% who always have to take a negative or disgusting attitude. Those blowhards that have to make it miserable and try to, I guess, tear down the reputations of politicians or destroy different features of radio announcing or great products that are brought on the air or services that we talk about. You know, just that simple thing. Just to be a source of aggravation. They get that power to know that they can interrupt or butt in. Fake news now is becoming popular, unfortunately, throughout the internet. It starts as kind of a interesting idea that somebody has convertedly designed to completely change and grab your attitude, grab your attention, change your mind immediately, instantaneously within seconds. A lot of people don't realize that guerrilla marketing was actually a very interesting form of stepping outside the box and marketing in some weird ways. Visually, guerrilla marketing works very, very successful and is done in very good taste. But there's a lot of other type of marketing. For instance, putting on podcast shows. Today, unfortunately, was the last day on a special television show or something that everybody loved, or one of the famous actors or characters that supposedly is gone now. He's either retired or died or has cancer, is on his last breath of air. Followed you by build up your testosterone or your vitamin D simply by taking our new tablets, just like Mr. ABC did before he was run over by a truck. False advertisement, false news, talking about criminal actions that don't exist or countries being overthrown just to sell a new miracle drug is really very, very disgusting. It's on podcasting, I'm sure, and it's on Facebook, I know. It's on Instagram, and it's going all over the internet. So I think the way I want to wind up the show today is I want to ask people to think first. When they get behind a microphone, think about what you're actually going to talk about. Present shows with facts. Bring journalism back. Right now, journalism has sunk to an all-time low, and it's a shame. Good journalists have disappeared. Podcasters are now overrunning the airwaves, and many of them are extremely good podcasters. They're bringing back journalism. But we, as Americans, have to remember that podcasting is freedom of speech. And freedom of speech comes with responsibilities. Now, a lot of people will come to me and say, Bill, well, that's true, it does. However, we, in this country, have fought for the right to say what we want to say. We did fight for the right for freedoms. We did fight for the right to build a country, the biggest, the most powerful, and the best in the world. But that same power that has been given to us by the Bill of Rights, by the freedom of speech, on podcasting street corners, from hot topics, soapboxes, information, can be devastatingly harmful if not utilized in the spirit of which those who have died for this country believed in. You know, I love to podcast. I enjoy it. I hope to build a bigger and better network. But I also want to remember, when I look at the flag, our beautiful flag, out there in the wind, blowing, and such a gorgeous sight it is, I also want to remember what those white, long stripes indicate and tell us. They tell us that good men and women, as they are fighting today in a war in a foreign country, have died for our right to be able to podcast, to raise our families, to be able to have a good life or make the choices in life that only freedom can bring. Podcasting is important. So remember, the next time you get on a Facebook or you do a Facebook Live, or maybe you're just going to do a simple Periscope presentation or whatever, just remember one thing. Someone out there died for the right for you to do that. So let's try to keep a little respect. Let's try to bring back journalism. Let's try to bring back a solid, good American, and when I say it, I mean it, an American choice of living, talking, and enjoying freedom. So I appreciate very much the opportunity to bloviate about this neat subject of podcasting today. I hope that you enjoyed the show as much as we have enjoyed producing it and presenting it to you. And I guess by looking at the old clock on the wall, we've run out of time. I have no producers today to help me out or technical engineers on the show. It's just moi. So we're going to have to hop on the jet now. We're going to have to make our way out of the studio and back into what I call the land of opportunity. So remember, whenever you're outside or inside or enjoying life, wherever you are, There's one thing that you can do to help all of us. You can keep on smiling. Until the next time we see you, this is Bill with Kiba Live Podcast, brought to you by our good friends at 24-Hour Black Car Service. Business or corporate trips, professional chauffeur services, airport service 24 hours a day. Black Car, 24-Hour Black Car Service. And our friends at Restoring Hope. Do you have a loved one that needs assisted living care, memory care, skilled nursing facilities? You need to find it for the loved one to help them through a very tough time? Call Lori Nash. Lori will take care of you. Lori Marsh. 253-576-1094. Until the next time we see you, I've got to hop on the jet now. We're pulling off the tarmac. Good luck, and remember, keep on smiling!